Redmi haven't stopped with the Redmi Note 8 Pro information. They sent this out on Weibo recently, showing a complete breakdown of the Redmi Note 8 Pro. It's not often that companies do this actually. They don't usually like to show you what happens on the inside of their products. But hats off to Redmi and Xiaomi here for actually doing this and doing it on their terms as well. So let's talk about those cameras. I took some very quick sample images when I got hands-on with the phone. Unfortunately, it is in the shops, but it hasn't gone officially on sale here in China yet. That happens next week. So I took some quick shots, take them for what they are. It's not a camera test, but I was actually pretty impressed with the color reproduction and the clarity. 64 megapixels is gonna give you much more clear and crisp pictures than 48 megapixels or even less. One of the things that I really wanna test out is how is that chipset for video and sample images with HDR and low light, because the MediaTek chipset is not something I've seen, so we'll have to test that further. The front 20 megapixel camera unit looks absolutely tiny when compared to that new 64 megapixel back camera unit as is housed in the Redmi Note 8 Pro. That's really cool hardware, but of course it is hardware and the chipset and software that are all gonna work together to give us the images. Stay tuned and subscribed if you want to see the camera test versus a few other phones. Now the Mate 30 has some bad news this week with Google saying that they couldn't support the new phones. So what that means is outside of China, it's going to be pretty difficult to justify buying one of these devices if you can't get Google working on the device. If there's a workaround or some way to get the Google Play Store on there and download the apps, then it might work, but I'm not sure how security patches are gonna work with Android. It's a big question mark for that device. We got confirmation today that the wired charging is 40-watt wired fast charging. There have been some rumors about 50 or even 55 watt, but it seems now they've settled on 40-watt fast charging. This is confirmed by registry stats, so it's definitely going to be 40-watt fast charging. Huawei have been teasing some videos recently about the upcoming event at IFA. First, this Rethink Sound video, and then today they released this really cryptic video without really saying what they were going to be launching. Now, there's been rumors that there might be two Kirin chipsets coming, a 985 and a 990, one of them having a built-in 5G modem and the other one being 4G for the slightly cheaper phones. That might be confirmed in this video, or it might be due to something else. Very cryptic, hard to tell, but we are gearing up for some big releases for Huawei coming very soon. And if you're into 5G, the Samsung Galaxy A90 specs leaked today. It will be called the A90 5G, but actually it doesn't look like the A90. It has a water drop notch and cameras on the back there. There's no flip ups or special cameras on this one. According to the leak specs, it's got a 48 megapixel triple camera setup on the back and 25-watt fast charging. It's definitely Samsung's attempt at basically a really cheap 5G phone. Although cheap for Samsung might not be cheap for other brands. We've already seen a few 5G handsets being released by Chinese manufacturers coming in at about just over 3,000 RMB, which is a lot cheaper than I expected 5G phones to be. So this might be cheap for a Samsung phone, not the cheapest 5G phone. But interestingly, Ice Universe put this tweet out today saying that if Samsung's waterfall display phone hadn't have been cancelled, that would have been released in September. But instead, they've gone with the Galaxy A90. So it looks like Samsung are going for just more functionality with the 5G rather than some new and different design specs on their phones. Vivo V17 Pro. Yeah, it's coming. Most of the specs on this one are still a little bit of a mystery to me, but we've seen some real live images of this phone with so many cameras at the back there. And Vivo today shared a picture saying this was taken on the V17 Pro and to get ready. So we're still waiting for the Redmi Note 8 Pro to officially go on sale here in China before we can do some camera tests and speed and gaming tests. Stay tuned if you want to see that. That's it for now, but I will see you in the next one.